So how do great organizations turn a problem, or really any kind of request, into a solution that actually delivers value? Well, ITIL 4 gives us this really powerful model to understand exactly that. Let's dive right into this core engine, the service value chain. Okay, picture this. It's a super busy day, but out in the warehouse, everything just grinds to a halt. The Wi-Fi is completely down, forklifts can't get their instructions, orders are just piling up, and you know those business deadlines? Yeah, they're suddenly at serious risk. This isn't just a request, this is demand in its most urgent form. It's a problem that needs a fix, and it needs it now. So what happens next is this rapid-fire sequence of events, right? A frantic call comes in, the problem gets logged and escalated immediately. An engineer dives in, finds the root cause, boom, a failed piece of hardware. A new one is configured, installed, and finally the service desk calls back to confirm everything's working again. We've literally just watched a journey from problem to solution. Now, you might look at that and think it's just a bunch of people reacting to a fire, but it's not just a random series of actions. While it definitely feels reactive, what you're seeing is a well-orchestrated, structured response. It's designed to restore value as fast as humanly possible. And that structure, it has a name. What you just saw, that whole journey, is called a service value stream. Think of it as a specific path that an organization takes to turn any kind of demand into actual value. In our little story, the demand was a broken service, and the value? Getting that warehouse back up and running. Okay, so here's the crucial question. Where do these value streams even come from? I mean, they're not just made up on the spot. They are built from a flexible, really powerful set of building blocks that live at the very heart of the ITIL 4 framework, and that is the service value chain. The best way to think of the service value chain is as the engine that drives all the work. And this engine, it's made up of 6 core activities. So let's pop the hood and break them down. Here they are. These are the 6 universal types of work that you can combine in almost endless ways to create any value stream you could possibly need. They are plan, improve, engage, design and transition, obtain/build, and deliver and support. First up, we've got plan. This one is all about strategy. It's about making sure everyone, and I mean everyone, has a shared understanding of the vision and the direction we're heading. It's how we make sure we're all rowing in the same direction. Next is improve. You can think of this as the engine of progress. Its entire reason for being is to make sure that our products, our services, and our ways of working are constantly getting better. It's like a continuous feedback loop that touches every single part of the value chain. Then there's engage. This is basically the front door of the value chain. It's where every single interaction with stakeholders happens. We're talking about understanding customer needs, getting their feedback, working with suppliers, and reporting on our progress. If you're talking to someone, you're probably in the engage activity. Design and transition. This is where we take all those requirements we gathered during engage and start turning them into new or changed services. This is all about making sure that what we build is actually fit for purpose and that it meets expectations for quality, cost, and speed. The obtain/build activity is pretty much what it sounds like. It's where the actual service components, the hardware, the software, you name it, are either bought or created from scratch. It's where we get all the pieces we need to assemble the service that we just designed. And finally, deliver and support. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is the day-to-day work of making sure our services are running, our users are being supported, and all those incidents and requests are being handled effectively. So how on earth do you remember all 6? Well, here's a pretty handy mnemonic for you. Just think of this sentence. Every plan improves, design, obtain, deliver. That gives you engage, plan, improve, design and transition, obtain/build, and deliver and support. It's just a simple phrase to keep the core of the value chain right there in your mind. Okay, so now let's see how these building blocks actually come together in the real world. Because the true power of the service value chain is its flexibility. These activities, they are not a rigid step-by-step process. Think of them more like a playbook that we can use to create custom value streams for pretty much any scenario. And this just perfectly illustrates our warehouse story. The journey starts with engage, when the call comes in. It moves into deliver and support for the investigation, then jumps to obtain build to get the new hardware. Then it's back to deliver and support to install it, a final engage to confirm everything's fixed, and then a little bit of improve through a satisfaction survey. See how it's not a straight line? And you can also see how practices like incident management and change enablement support the work at each stage. But not everything is a five-alarm fire, right? What about a more routine, everyday task? Let's say a new employee needs access to some standard software, like Microsoft Visio. This is a totally different kind of demand, so it's going to require a totally different value stream. See here, the path is way more direct and automated. It kicks off with Engage in a self-service portal. Then another quick Engage step handles the auto-approval. Then it's a quick trip through Obtain/Build and Deliver and Support to push out the software. It's fast, it's efficient, and it needs almost zero human intervention. All right, for our last example, let's look at a planned, normal change. This isn't an emergency, but it's a really critical fix for a recurring problem with a payment processing system. It needs careful planning and execution to make sure we don't disrupt the business. This value stream is way more comprehensive. It flows from engage to capture the demand, moves through plan to assess all the risks, then into design and transition and obtain/build to create and test the fix. After that, it's a controlled deployment in deliver and support, and finally, this is so important, a crucial improve step to learn from the whole experience. So what's the big takeaway from all these different examples? It really boils down to a fundamental shift in how we think about the work we do. The service value chain frees us from those old, rigid, one-size-fits-all processes. So instead of being stuck with a single strict rulebook, it gives us a flexible playbook. It lets us build these adaptive, non-linear value streams that are laser-focused on just one thing, creating value for our stakeholders, no matter what the scenario is. You know, the service value chain isn't just some abstract framework. It's a really practical way of thinking. It pushes us to ask, what demand are we actually responding to? What value are we trying to create? And what is the absolute best path to get from one to the other? So I want you to take a look at your own work. What journey could you map out to deliver value just a little bit more effectively?